Hi everyone! Today I want to talk about one of the easiest ways to use less paper to print double-sided and how much impact it will actually make in terms of trees. Now, you might remember from my previous video that paper has many other negative effects on the environment than the use of trees, and the use of trees in itself may not actually be a problem if they're sourced from sustainably managed forests. But in this video I used trees to measure the environmental benefits of double-sided printing because it's a simple enough metric that will allow us to compare the impacts between different scenarios and with other measures that reduce paper use that I will talk about in my future videos. So let's get cracking. I will consider several scenarios. The first scenario is printing at home, or rather for personal purposes, as opposed to printing for work or studies. Now, there is no data on how much people print on average for personal purposes, so let's take a hypothetical number of 5 pages per week, and you can adjust the calculations using your own number. If our hypothetical person prints these pages single-sided, then she uses 5 sheets of paper a week, which is 260 a year. If she starts printing double-sided instead, she will save half of that, or 130 sheets of paper a year. Easy. This of course means that if she needs to print just one page today, she will reuse the other side of the sheet to print next time. So how much is that in terms of trees? Well, one tree makes about 8,000 sheets of paper. So the 130 sheets of paper that we've saved corresponds to about 2,000ths of a tree. Now let's move on to printing for work, which for many people is much larger than printing for personal purposes. According to the US data, an average office worker uses about 10,000 sheets of paper a year. Switching from single to double-sided printing will save 5,000 sheets of paper, which corresponds to 0.6 trees. More than half a tree. You can potentially save even more trees by double-sided printing if you're a college student, because an average college student uses about 30,000 sheets of paper a year, which means that an average college student can save almost 2 trees a year by double-sided printing. Now let's make this interesting. What if you were to convince your boss to change the settings on your work printer to print double-sided by default? A very prominent study in experimental economics conducted such an experiment. They asked a big public university in Sweden to change the default of their printers to double-sided printing and not tell this to the employees. As a result, the daily paper consumption dropped by 15%. It didn't drop by half because sometimes workers needed to print just one page at a time, or they changed the settings back to one-sided printing when actually printing. But otherwise, 15% reduction in paper use from one simple change in printer settings sounds pretty good. So for advanced eco-ninjas out there, if you want to try this at your workplace, here is how many trees you can save. Let's say your company has 10 employees and everyone uses 10,000 sheets of paper a year. If you remember, this is how much an office worker uses on average. This makes it 100,000 sheets of paper for the whole company. Changing the default of the work printer to double-sided printing will save 15% of that, or 15,000 sheets of paper, which is 1.8 trees, same as a college student. You'll save more, obviously, if your company has more than 10 employees. If your boss needs a little convincing to change the printer settings, this might help. The 15,000 sheets of paper that this will save is almost 4 cases of paper. At a price of $30 per case, this is more than $100 per year, just from changing the printer setting. Think how much office snacks you can buy for this kind of money. And there you have it. Now you know how many trees you can save or already saving by double-sided printing. Do you print double-sided? And if not, will you? Or maybe you will sneak into your workplace and change the printer settings? Let me know down in the comments. Let's chat. Until next time, bye!